By the way, what did you call me?
So here's what happened. Here's what happened yesterday to me, DeMarco.
Yes.
I'm sitting at the table. I hadn't seen Jorge yet.
You were surprised when you saw me.
I know, right? Because I didn't know you were going to. I knew you were going to be there. I didn't
Where
know what
are you
capacity. LAFC.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're at
BMO.
We're at BMO. Slam down. Michael Duarte slams down an iPad in front of me, and he says, "Watch this." And I end up watching the highlight, and then I look out into the crowd, and other people in the crowd are doing the same thing to each other. Yo, it's April, DeMarco. Trav and I were talking about this when you were gone. Like, I don't know. I texted him immediately, and the next thing I did was I texted Trav, and I said, LOL, WTF.
Wait, it's April. What does that mean? It's too early for this?
No. Here's what this means. Baseball has dates where even baseball fans check in, and then they check out for extended periods of time. And the dates are opening day, around the All-Star break, around the trade deadline, and the month of September.
This is when you check out.
This is when you check in.
Oh, check in.
And
okay.
then there are long stretches where it's like you look at the score. Okay, cool. Oh, they won. Oh, they won 2 or 3 in a row. They're struggling. This guy's
right. Oh, there was a no-hitter, a grand slam there, whatever.
You have a general sense of what's going on, but you're not watching it like this with your just eyes locked in on it. Ohtani hits that home run last night. I got texts from colleagues like Clinton and
TV's
Craig.
Clinton Yates.
Yes, I'm on TV today, so it matters.
TV's Clinton Yates.
It matters, yeah.
I got texts from my son, my dad, my buddies from Ireland, from Chris McGee, from like people that are just in my life that we never just talk about random baseball stuff, that the Dodgers doing what they're doing, specifically Ohtani being involved in that particular moment. They've done the impossible. They've made baseball must watch in the second week of April. That doesn't happen like that. And when it happened, it wasn't 5 minutes later where you saw it on Twitter. It was the ball lands, my phone blew up. It was wild.
Well, it also had the great advantage of not just how it happened at the end, but how it happened leading up to it, which is tie ball game. Shohei's up. If you're in the stadium, you're saying pack it up. You know what I mean? Like, okay, this is about to happen.
Right.
Bang. First pitch, by the by.
Change up on the outside corner that he put into left center field.
If again, I said that this morning on the show. If you wrote that in a script, you'd be like, well, that's not realistic enough.
Did you see what Tommy Edmonds said?
No.
Tommy Edmonds was, I knew he was going to hit one. I just didn't know where I was going to go. Like, and
that's a great line.
That's a great line. And I think Kike had a quote. I think Max Muncy had another quote. And they're all like, honestly, no, I wasn't really that surprised. That's what this guy does.
Unbelievable.
And he's done it, and the Dodgers collectively have done it. Greg and I, Berg and I were talking about this. We were texting back and forth for most of the game. When they were down early, I texted my buddy G-Fish, and they were down 5-0. I said, they could still win, right? And he's like, yeah, maybe. And usually 5-0, you're like, that's a wrap. It's because you're gonna go to some bullpen guys that are probably gonna give up a bunch of runs, and you're not gonna make up. At that point, 5-0 in the second inning, the Braves were probably likely to score 8 or 9 runs in that game. They got 5, and you've heard me say this a million times. The game's too long. You're not going to go through that lineup 3, 4, 5 times and keep them under 4 or 5 runs. They're going to get to 4 or 5 virtually every single night, and that's exactly what happened. So it went from 5 to 3 to 2 to Muncy, who's been as cold as anybody on the team, gets a big hit, to, oh, my God, there he is. Here he comes. This is over.
All right, go home.
It's bananas.
One of the things, DeMarco, I wanted to impress upon you is I know a lot of times you like to use examples from other things to either harken back or to be comparative. We're operating in a new space now in terms of this. If you're a fan, and this is Dodgers related, but it's not in this sense. It doesn't matter who you're a fan of. No fan of any baseball team has ever experienced what's happening right now with this, as in a team that was that good, that came off of a World Series win, and is now streaking in a way, and also in a way that makes it clear that, dude, the Padres are undefeated. Mm-hmm. The Giants are having their best start in 10 years.
Giants have lost 1 game.
Yeah. And this is a non-discussion. Like, there is no hearkening back to, oh, well, is it? No, this isn't like anything else because it hasn't happened before. This is the time for Dodgers fans to be obnoxious.
Can I add one thing to
Yes.
it? I don't want to change anything. I just want to add to. They're not playing well.
Exactly. They're just winning
They're,
games.
they're not playing well. They're not playing. Yesterday they played terrible.
Yeah, they had a couple throwing errors that were not great.
And they could have had a couple more errors that were not scored errors. They ran the bases like they'd never played baseball before. They had a weird game.
Yeah.
They won anyway. And that, I think, is what happens when they get hot. If this is them playing their B-level baseball,
Mediocre.
B- maybe, what happens when they play A to A+ baseball?
17-0 probably.
I think it could be something like that. I think you could see a run if they get hot. Let's say they get hot. And
All phases. You're pitching, hitting.
your starting pitchers are doing what you expect them to do, and the bullpen continues to perform like this, and everybody is performing to or expectation. You're going to have a whole bunch of 13-2s.
And you're going to have a bunch of guys losing a bunch of money on Vegas, too. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's going to be wild. I mean, I'm just think about it. Like, that, I mean, when football teams start beating people by more than a touchdown a game, like, interest changes in them. And if you talked about this a little bit, too. If they start regularly beating teams by more than, like, a grand slam at a time, that's bananas. Like, that changes all sorts of trends in terms of those who like to put wagers on things. I'm saying, though, I've been critical of Dodgers fans in the past for a lot of different reasons. Now is the time to be obnoxious. Now is the time to pop the jersey, flex everything you've got, and look down upon people.
I think that's what I've been trying
now
to say.
is the time.
To you.
We are in the middle of that.
Go ahead
Brag
and smile.
away.
Go ahead and smile.
You know,
Be that
here's
guy.
when it's going to come.
Yeah.
Here's when it's going to come. And it's you're not going to have to wait very long. What's today? Today's April 3rd.
Yes.
Okay. Here it will be here before May 3rd. And here's
Okay.
why. Do you know who they play after this weekend? They play the Phillies this weekend in Philadelphia.
They play the Nationals after that.
They play the Nats after that. And then here's who they have coming before we get to a Diamondback series at the beginning of May.
Oh.
You get the Marlins twice. You get the Cubs. You get Colorado. And you get Pittsburgh.
Oof. Those are like the four worst teams in the big.
Those are the four worst teams in Major League Baseball. Okay, so they're going to get, I don't want to say get fat because they haven't lost a game yet, but the Braves are good. I don't care that they're 0-7. They're good. You can't convince me yet that they're not good.
Sure.
The Cubs, I think, are decent.
The Cubs think that they're
right?
good.
And you're talking about a Tiger team that's not a bad team. I don't think they're great, but they're not a bad team.
Playoff team last year.
Yes. They're going to and the A's, they play the A's too in this stretch. They're playing bad teams for about the next month. Somewhere between the only two teams that you look at and say that's a pretty good team. They play Texas and they play Philadelphia. Those are good teams. Everyone else is mediocre to legitimately terrible.
It's going to get ugly.
Good luck.
For them?
For
them.
Baseball.
Yeah.
You could really be looking, fast forward a month from now. What are they? They're 8-0 right now. In a month, you play about 25 games. Okay, so that's 33 total. You could be looking at something like 30-3 a month from now, and it's
Which is
not
insane.
crazy.
That's Golden State Warriors 15, 16 level.
You guys have
nonsense.
never talked about a baseball team this way ever.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so
no, I've never seen a baseball team like
so
this.
you're looking for weaknesses. The only thing I can see, not to harken back or whatever, is your motivation. And this is how we started the show. I kind of feel bad for Dave Roberts, but not a lot because, I mean, how do you drill down on a team that keeps winning?
I'll tell you how quickly, Trav.
Yeah.
Did you hear him yesterday? Did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
Is it this one?
Tonight I was kind of a little dumbfounded. I was dumbfounded with the way we were playing. I didn't recognize that club in the first couple innings. And then just dumbfounded how we found a way to win that game. We had no business winning that game. But to our guys' credit, we just kept fighting.
The answer is simple. Be mean.
Right.
That's how. Dave's got to
You're gonna have
get
to.
mean on guys. The nice guy who's out here twerking all over Ice Cube and all that, who's everybody's favorite UCLA Bruin, to keep them motivated, he's going to have to get after them.
A little bit. I agree
little
with you.
bit.
100%.
I hear you guys, and
Yeah.
yes,
Just for
I agree.
focus.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing: they played. They were sloppy. They ran the bases poorly. They played bad defense. Blake Snell. We've been over it. But they grind like crazy, and most managers will tell you that's what they want.
Sure.
Like you're going to have nights where you make a bad throw, where you misread a ball in the outfield, where you make a stupid decision going first to third. They did all of those things last night. But every at bat in that game was a pretty good at bat, other than Muncy swinging at the first pitch after 4 straight balls. But every at bat was a grinding at bat, was really disciplined. And if I'm Dave Roberts, I can't get too mad at my guys who were down 5-0 in the second inning and just ground into dust a pretty good team.
You didn't
by
lose.
Being over it.
You didn't lose.
Yeah.
You won. It's
no,
just
but
it's hard.
His tone alone was an indication of where he's at. He said, I don't know who that team is.
Yeah.
Like flippantly almost.
That's good.
Something that you didn't see before. He was always very protective in a way of, well, some things didn't go the way they should have. Some
He's
this
rarely openly critical.
Yeah, this time
Very
he
rarely.
was. He said, I don't know who that team is.
There's this one, too.
You know, I think if you look at our club, we haven't, like I've said, we haven't really played great baseball. And tonight, obviously, was the worst night. Worst game we've played. But the pen has been fantastic, and you get two young rookie pitchers coming up against a good ball club, not playing great, but the two innings apiece, shorten the game, give us a chance was huge.
That's Dungy level.
His ability to be critical.
yeah.
His ability to be critical was often limited, and he's clearly just doesn't care at this point. Doesn't have to.
What he said, too, their ability to shorten the game, and he's talking about Kasperius and Dreyer specifically, is the exact opposite of what the Dodgers do to everyone they play against, where the game feels like it's never going to end. Like where you got a 5-run lead, and you're like, it's like you're almost looking for the clock to expire.
I was going to say, which is the worst feeling in baseball.
You can't. It's like they're going to get to my third or fourth best bullpen arm, and we're going to lose. That's just the way I can't get to the finish line from here without using. He went to Raisel Iglesias, who's a really good closer, to get a 5-out say on April 2nd. Okay? That's crazy.
They call it counting outs, DeMarco, in terms of the basic strategy of how you look at you're going to win a game. And if you're trying to count outs against the Dodgers, you're going to run out of breath.
Bro, he's trying to get one. He's just trying to get one.
He went to his closer in the 8th inning on April 3rd.
He was desperate, man. Come on.
And I'm not. And by the way, try the right thing to do.
Sure,
Of course.
Yeah.
Dude was good, too.
And by the way, a caller just pointed out that the 1984 Detroit Tigers started out 35-5 to start their season.
Yep.
You know what? I'm putting those headlines on the board in the clubhouse.
And they ran away and hid from the league the rest of the season. No one ever got, and they won the World Series. They beat the Padres that year. Like, that was
That's your comp.
And here, I remember this. I was, in 1984, I was 13, so I was very plugged into what was going on. And the thing was, it'll correct itself. But you don't win 34, 37 baseball games. It will not last. It will. Guess what happened? It lasted. It lasted. They won the World Series.
There's your comp, DeMarco.
Yeah.
What's that?
You should go back at this day in history every day for the Detroit Tigers in 1984.
There is no comp for this.
No,
because,
but talent-wise, there's not.
And you guys can't tell me, really, let's get real. Is he really that good?
Who?
Otani.
Yes.
No. He's better.
Okay.
He's better.
He's better than that good.
Yes. Goodbye. I'm going to be on TV.
Yeah. No. I mean, what are you thinking he's over? Like, where is he over his skis?
I'm completely shocked by what I'm seeing. Like, you can't be that good. You can't call your own shot.
I don't want this to sound hyperbolic.
Yeah.
Because, and I don't mean
you don't hit a home run on your
hyperbole.
bobblehead to win the game.
He did. He had a grand slam walk-off bobblehead night to go 40-40 last year.
So
this is what the man does.
I'm not saying fluky. It's baseball. Things happen, and he's great. But this is going beyond now.
He might be the greatest baseball player to ever walk the planet.
Okay. That's what I'm trying to get to.
He might be that.
Is that what I'm seeing?
Maybe. It's not a ridiculous thing to propose.
But why him, of all people? Like, what is it? His height, weight, speed? His approach?
Yes.
It's everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me ask you this.
Shoot.
Have you ever seen him look stressed?
Ever. Never.
Have you ever seen him look like the moment's, wow, this is a big deal?
All.
Dude, his interpreter was getting thrown in prison, and he just went out there and raked.
It's like he's not human.
Like, it's like, just think, yeah, it's cool. Like, we're going to throw you in jail, and there's a gambling. So, yeah, whatever. I'm going to go, 59-54. Cool. Win the World Series. Cool. First year ever. Cool.
We were having that discussion, better athlete, Mookie or Shohei. That's fun. Who has a better next 5 years? Lakers with Luka or Otani and the Dodgers?
I'll take the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I'll
close.
take the Dodgers.
Because I think it's easier to win a championship for Luka than it is for this guy to win a World Series.
I agree with that. I agree with that. But Luka is going to be just Luka, and we'll see what they do moving forward sooner than later. Right?
Yeah.
And Mookie's not going anywhere. Otani's not going anywhere. These young guys, Yamamoto's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, these are not old men on their last gasp. These are guys that are in the middle of their prime or just getting started.
You're just getting into your prime now. That's so ridiculous. Wow.
Lakers, Warriors tonight. Speaking of a little playoff primer, it's coming up. It's Trav and DeMarco, 710 ESPN.
Steve Mason and John Ireland.
ドジャースタジアムに歴史が刻まれた、まさに奇跡の夜が訪れた。4月3日、この日はファンにとって待望の大谷翔平ボブルヘッドナイト。だったが、まさか、 こんな夢のようなドラマが待っているとは誰が想像しただろうか。そう、その主役こそ、世界が認める超人。我らが大谷翔平である。試合はアトランタ、ブレーブスを迎え撃つホーム戦。序盤から試合の流れは完全にブレーブスのものだった。先発の立ち上がりに苦しんだドジャース投手陣は序盤で5点を奪われ、苦境に立たされてしまう。しかし、この日の大谷はまるで何か特別な使命を背負ったかのように、落ち着いた表情でバッターボックスへ向かっていた。スタンドには、この日のために用意された、大谷翔平ボブルヘッド。お手に興奮を抑えきれないファンたちの熱気が満ちている。序盤で大きく離されたスコアを見ても、彼らはまだ諦めていない。なぜなら、そこには大谷翔平という奇跡を起こす男がいるからだ。試合中盤、ドジャースは徐々にリズムを取り戻し、じわじわとブレーブスに迫っていく。7回裏、ついに大谷が放った鋭い一打でチャンスが生まれ、反撃ののろしが上がった。この時点でスタジアムは揺れるような大歓声に包まれ、誰もが奇跡を予感していた。そして、5対5の同点で迎えた運命の9回裏、2アウト、ランナー2塁という劇的な場面で、打席に向かう背番号17、大谷翔平の姿がスクリーンに映し出された。その瞬間、ドジャースタジアムはかつてないほどの熱狂に包まれた。観客の誰もが息を飲み、祈るような視線を彼に注いでいる。マウンドのブレーブス投手もまた、大谷を迎えるプレッシャーに苦悩の表情を浮かべていた。そして、まさにその刹那、大谷は渾身のフルスイングを披露した。バットに捉えられたボールは美しい放物線を描き、宇宙間の夜空に吸い込まれていく。スタジアム中のファンが立ち上がり、ボールの軌道を固唾を飲んで見守った。そして、ボールは悠然とフェンスを越えていったのである。その瞬間、ドジャースタジアムはまるで地鳴りのような大歓声に包まれ、歓喜の渦が広がった。劇的すぎるサヨナラホームランである。これが彼にとって、メジャーでの2本目のサヨナラアーチであり、記念すべき、大谷翔平ボブルヘッドナイトのフィナーレを飾る。まさに神かかった一発となった。ホームインする大谷をチームメイトが大歓喜で迎える。ロバーツ監督も涙を浮かべて喜び、言葉にならない感情をかみしめている。試合後のインタビューでは、翔平はいつも信じられないようなことをやってのける。しかし今日は特別だ。この日、この状況であのホームランを放てるのは世界に彼しかいない。と感動の言葉を漏らした。さらには、ムーキー、ベッツも興奮冷めやらぬまま、翔平の凄さを一体どうやって表現すればいいんだ。彼は人間離れした存在だ。と語り、その衝撃を隠しきれなかった。また、この日球場を訪れていたメジャーリーグのレジェンド、ケン・グリフィー・ジュニアは、私は数々の偉大な選手を見てきたが、彼ほど完璧で、彼ほど神秘的な選手は見たことがない。彼のプレーはもはや芸術だ、と絶賛し、その偉業の価値を証明した。アメリカのメディアもすぐにこの劇的な一打を速報で伝え、大谷は我々の想像をはるかに超えた選手だ。あの状況でホームランを放てる人間がいること自体が驚異的だ。と、世界的な衝撃を巻き起こしている。さらには、多くの専門家が、彼はまさにメジャーリーグ史上最高の二刀流選手だ。と絶賛し、その実力と精神力の高さを改めて評価した。一方、大谷自身は劇的なホームランの後にもかかわらず、謙虚な姿勢を崩さず、自分が打ったことより、今日球場に来てくれたファンの皆さんに勝利を届けられたことが一番嬉しい、と語り、感謝の言葉を忘れなかった。さらに彼は、自分がここで野球を続けられるのは、皆さんのおかげだ。これからも応援よろしくお願いします。と続け、スタンドからは割れんばかりの拍手が沸き起こった。まさに、この夜は野球史に残る特別な瞬間となった。試合終了後もスタジアムには興奮が冷めやらず、観客は誰一人として席を立とうとはしなかった。彼らにとって、大谷翔平のこのサヨナラホームランは、一生心に刻まれるであろう最高のプレゼントとなったに違いない。この夜、再び世界は大谷翔平の偉大さを目の当たりにし、彼の奇跡に酔いしれた。大谷翔平、その存在はすでに伝説であるが、今日また一つ、新たな伝説を築き上げた。彼の歩む道のりには限界という言葉は存在しない。その才能、その精神力、そしてその人間性。まさしく彼は、私たちの誇るべき日本野球の至宝である。